Okay, so we'll start with a new program on one example, and we'll basically try to extend that example slowly. So I'll be actually now explaining you how to read a particular file, which is a CSV file, and then how do you process data in that using Spark. Okay, so let me create a new class. I think yesterday we did here, so let me create a new class. Okay, before that, let me show you the problem statement that I'm going to process. So this is the problem statement. I'll first share the data with you. So as you can see, this is the data I have. I basically have an ads ID. Okay, I got it from some data from some website, and I just took out only few data. I masked out some information. So this is basically advertisement which is provided by a different providers. Okay, and it might be possible that one ad provider can provide multiple ads, and same way one ad can be actually given from different providers. So if you can see here, there is a provider one, and provider one. So it's like these guys have actually provided 4 different ads. Similarly, provider 3 has provided, about 2 different ads. So we want to find out, how many ads each provider has provided. Okay. That's the problem statement, and I want to extend that problem statement going forward. But before that, I just wanted to, let's first try to solve this problem. Then we'll take one more file and we'll see how do we process that. So are we getting the problem statement? Any doubts on the problem statement? Yes, Gagan. It's an advertisement ID basically. It's a unique advertisement ID which is being provided by a particular provider. Okay, Shiva. So what we are trying to do is we are basically trying to find out how many ads a particular provider has provided. Okay. So if you see, ad provider 1 has actually done almost 4 and 5. 5 ads he has provided. Similarly, provider 3 has provided approximately how much? 2? Yeah, 2. 2 ads it has provided. So it's like, it's a provider who provides different ads to different companies who then, show it on their websites or different media, basically on televisions and all that. So who is the provider for that? And once you know the provider, you want to find out how many ads that provider provides, right? So this data will help you get that information. Is that clear, Shiva? Okay. Okay, I hope everyone has got it. Let me know in case if some doubt is there. Okay, so let's get started on that, and we'll start writing a Spark program for that. I'll be creating let's say a class ads aggregator. Now what we need to do here is we need to basically read that file and then we need to process it using, just one second. Yeah, we need to process it using a Spark program. So we'll be definitely using a CSV Reader class actually here. So that is what I wanted to show you how to do that. So this is a CSV file, so I'll be using a CSV Reader. For that, let me first start writing a two important thing which we do it normally, which is creating a Spark configuration, right? And you will basically select the application name. So this is your ads application. After that, I'll create a Spark context. Oh, sorry, it should be conf, not SC. Okay, after that, we need to go and start reading the file and then understand how do we parse it using a CSV file. So basically, first let me just read the entire file as one RDD. Okay, so I'll be doing this c.text file. We have done that yesterday, so I'll be doing the same thing. Okay, and it should create an RDD, Java RDD. We are good with that. Now what we will be doing is we'll be basically creating an ads RDD. Okay, so ads RDD will do what? It will actually take one. See here, for example, I think I have copied the data here itself. Let me show you that. Okay, just give me 1 second. I have to bring the data to the Cloudera manager. So just give me 1 second. Let me do that. You will be seeing here the ads.csv file, which is this. Okay, so this is I'm getting actually one like 2 columns data basically, or if you can see it in Excel, it will look something like this. Okay, so this is the data that I have. I'm reading, so this becomes one RDD. My entire file RDD contains this data, and I'm going to parse entire object here, right, of CSV into the and I have to split them, by the way. For that, I need a CSV Reader. So what you should be doing is you should use some CSV Reader APIs, or you can directly use normal split, but then CSV Reader is more cleaner way to use this, to use the, to split the data between the files. So let me start writing the CSV Reader. Now what I need to do is I need to basically go through this. If you can see here, take these 2 records, okay, and these two columns data, I want to split them, I want to convert them into a key value pair, and I want to generate a pair RDD. Okay, why do I need to generate a pair RDD? Can anybody tell me why should I actually create a pair RDD from this? What is the use of that? Think over about this problem and then we can discuss. Yes, Dipto, that's very good. That's right. So basically, yes, sorry, that's correct. So you need to actually do a reduce by operation, right? Reduce by key operation. That is the reason why I want to actually split this data, so that I can actually get this as a key and this as a value, and then I can parse it accordingly. So we'll be actually doing it in this way. So what we'll be doing is, just one second. Let me write it so that it will become easy for you. I have a file RDD. I'll be calling a map to pair function. Okay. Okay, it takes string and the output key and a value. See, this is a tuple object that it returns, right? Input, we know that it takes a string, which is an entire line. This entire record will be taken as a string, but output will be a key value pair. Now, what should I take as a key and what should I take as a value? So if you can see here, it's easy to understand that if you basically, do you really need this ad advertisement ID? You don't need it. I just want to count how many ads are provided by a provider. So if I can just calculate how many times ad provider 1 comes in this column, that's it. That many times he has produced or provided the ad, right? So I should basically be doing something like this. Let's say ad ID is 1 and the provider ID is ad provider 1, 2, ad provider 2. Again, third ID is, let's say, published by ad provider 1. Fourth ID is published by ad provider 3. And fifth ID is published by ad provider 1 again. So what you should be doing is, you don't need to consider this column at all. Only this column is enough. So this is my file RDD. Okay, I am going to convert it into a pair RDD, but this time what you should be doing is, you need to actually take key, which is an ad provider 1, and the value as 1. Just like a word count that we did. Similar logic I'm using. Ad provider 1, value is 1, ad provider 3, value is 1, and so on and so forth. Ad provider 1 and value is 1. Okay. Now, once you have this, pair RDD, from there what you need to do? From there it's simple. I just need to call reduce by key operation and it should automatically go and count the total values of the same key. So it will be like this and this will be calculated and it will be something like this. Ad provider 1 is a key, value is 3. Ad provider 2 is the key, value is 1, and ad provider 3, value is 1. This is your final output, which you can save it. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So what I'm trying to do is, I'll parse this data first using Csv Reader, convert it into this kind of format, and then I'll use the transformation. So here the key would be a string again, value is integer. Okay. That's it. So it automatically implements the function. This is, let's say, I would take a line as a function, one entire line, okay, or row, you can say row. And then this is my row basically, okay. As you can see, this is the row which comes first time, and I want to convert it into the tuple object. So what should I be doing? This is where I can use a CSV reader, which actually use basically there is a CSV reader API which we need to use. So you can just use something like this. CSV reader is equals to CSV reader. Okay. And here we need to basically, this is the one which we need to import. And here it actually expects us to provide the location basically. So what you are trying to read. So I can just do simple string reader, which is a Java API class, and pass this row. So it knows now how to read the string. Okay. And once you read the string, once you create the CSV reader, it's easy. You just say CSV reader dot next, or you can just say reader dot next. Oh, I'm sorry. It's read next, which takes an array of, I would say data. I can just say data, and then you can take a new tuple object. So you can directly return it as a new tuple object and pass that data value is the, depends on the which column you want to consider it as a key or a value. So what you will be doing here is return new tuple, and we also know that it takes string and integer. So here I'll be taking data of 1 and 1. That's it. Okay. So as you can see, what I have done here is, in this particular file, this contains, once I split this record, it actually gets converted into array of columns, and I'll take that column of 1. This is 0 and this is 1. So that is the second column. That becomes my key, and the value is 1. So you can use a CSV reader here to read the CSV and do this way. Once you complete this operation, it would create a pair RDD. So you can just say pair and directly name it as pair RDD only. Okay. And then after that pair RDD, you just need to call dot reduce by key. Okay. Inside that, you would just 1 second. Excuse me. Okay. So this is a function 2, not function class, basically because I had to Yeah, I have to open the function tool which takes that parameter, and we have put here, so it takes 2 arguments, and I'm just returning argument of 0 plus argument of 1. That's it, done. So this completes my para.dd result. This is my result. The result should contain that, and that result is what I should be doing, storing it in the CSV file, right? So that's how we completed that particular activity. All right. So this completes my ads aggregator, which basically reads the file. So this is just one small example that I've given because we want to, solve one big problem, and I'll be giving you the data sets and also I'll tell you how to do that. But there actually we'll do a lot more in that. But this is just the starting of it. So I thought we'll just start with a smaller file and understand how do we process that data. Here, instead of CSV Reader, you can also use a string split function to split the data. Absolutely fine with that. So I'm just giving you different ways to do that. So what we did is we created a file RDD, then we use a pair RDD to convert it into key value, and where key would be my, add provider ID, value is 1. And once I have that pair RDD, I'm calling reduce by key function on top of that to count all the ones for the given key. Once you do that, we are good with that, and then we can basically just save that result into the final output file. And then I am doing sc.close. So it should close the Spark context. That's it. So this is the program that we are writing to solve that problem. Is everyone clear with that? Any questions on this? Yes, Gagan, we have that as well. I'll be showing you, not now, but I'll be showing you an example when we talk about, when we cover some advanced concepts in Spark, like, Spark SQL and all that, where I'll be showing you how to use a JSON reader or Parquet reader. Those APIs are also available. Yeah, Deepto. So it's basically your business requirement. What do you really want to do here? So this is under that call method. Whatever you write, that is your logic. So it depends on what you really want to do here when you want to convert an RDD into pair RDD. And so that logic you should write it here. So it may be more number of lines or fewer number of lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and execute that. I'll be exporting it as a jar file and we'll execute this. So just give me a second. So one reason is for the Java is there for a longer period, right? So people are very comfortable with Java, and Java also has all these features of, providing inline functions and all that. So it becomes easy for you to use that. Otherwise, I mean, you can see it's like a programming language, and different developers will get comfortness based on their, first of all, how do they treat it? Some people, in fact, think that Scala is very difficult, and it takes more time to comprehend the logic and all that. We have just seen one or two examples, but when we start writing a lot of programs in Scala, it will be, you will get to realize that. So and then people who have done a lot of programming in Java would find it easy to kind of get used to it. So it all depends on your comfort level. Okay. So the pair function basically takes these three parameters. In fact, not only pair, any function, any such functions which are taking mostly two parameters. It is input and output to that function. What is an input to that function and what is the output that you are writing from the function? In case of pair function, we are taking one input, which is, for example, if you see here, we are basically taking this entire row as one input, one string. But what you are doing, you are actually generating an output as a key value, which is a tuple object, right? So this is what it means. String refers to the entire row, which is this. But when you are writing an output, add provider itself will be key, which is a string, and one is a value, which is an integer. That's why you are defining string and integer here. Okay. It's a data type of your output key value parameters. Clear? Okay. So we'll be starting with, I have just executed the jar, so we can directly start executing that program. So let me put this ads file first in the HDFS, and then we can write the program. Okay. We can now start executing that programs. Spark submit and add aggregator application, right? So just copy the qualified name. Yan will take a lot of time, as we have seen yesterday, so I'll just take right now local ads aggregator ads dot csv. Let us execute this. Let's see the output. So let's see the output. It's done. So as you can see, each provider and number of ads that it has published, that total count has been presented here, right? So that's how you can solve this problem. All right. Any questions on this? Let me know in case if any questions. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Okay, fine. So let's continue. Now there is one important thing that I want to tell you. Okay, as I told you yesterday, we understood that you know, even word count problem that we have solved, we got a word and the count of that word. Similarly, here we got a ad provider and number of ads that he has published is given here. But what if, see, here the data is shuffled, but it will never be sorted. So what if I want to do the sorting here? So if you really want to do the sorting, how does it actually do that? So we want to, let's say sort based on the total number of ads provided by this provider. Okay, I want to reverse that. So what I want to do is, instead of displaying the result in a random manner, I want to display the ad provider who has provided most number of ads. He should be first. Then, in that order, other provider should be. So you want to sort all the data. If you talk in terms of MapReduce, you want to sort everything based on the value, right? Here, this is key and this is value. And you want to do that. In MapReduce, normally we know that the output gets generated by, sorting based on the key. But if you want to sort the output based on values in MapReduce itself, you need to write secondary sorting algorithm, right? Which involves a lot of coding. In fact, you need to write comparators, you need to implement your own comparator logic, do this custom sorting, then you need to create a composite key. Lot more stuff you need to achieve to get it done. But in case of Spark, you can in fact do it in a much more simplified manner. All right. So what I really want to do is, I want to sort everything based on the key. So how do I solve that problem? How do I sort the data based on the value now, so that total number of, so that the ad provider will be printed first who has provided the most number of ads. Okay. So let us try to solve that problem. Let us extend the logic here itself, and I'll be doing that. So I got a result, right? Now there is actually, so one more transformation, by the way, that I'm going to give you. It's actually not a transformation, it's a method for a tuple object. So we'll learn about that. So okay, first of all, let's understand what are we trying to do as part of the logic. So you have this key value pair, right? Now, can I do something here? For example, I got this as my data. What if I will convert this data into this fashion, where it will be something like this? Okay, what I'm doing, I'm just swapping the data from this RDD to this RDD. What do I do? What I do here? I'm just converting a value as a key and a key as a value, right? This is called swapping. And obviously, since we cannot change the existing RDT because it's immutable, we have to create a new RDT with that data, right? And once you create a new RDT, what you can call here is, there is always a every RDT. By the way, this is one transformation that I wanted to show you. So there is, sort by key is a method available, or it's a, you can say it's a, transformation available for every RDT. So what if I will sort by key here? Obviously, all the data whichever is low will be first, and then the later one. You can also reverse that order, but that's how. So once you sort by key, it is sorted based on the value. So actually, the logic here is, first you make value as key and key as value, and then you sort it based on the keys. So automatically that object gets sorted based on the values. Are we getting what I'm trying to do here? Did we understand the logic? Any questions on that? No, Nikhil, that's not possible. So Nikhil, you can actually do that, but for that you need to provide a custom comparator logic. You need to write your own comparator class and then sort it based on the values, create another RDD with that, with the key and a value, but value being sorted based on your sorting order. So that automatically corresponding key will be coming at the top of the list. So that is again, you are writing comparator, and it's like more number of lines of code you need to do. But here it's very simple. There is a swap function available. You just swap them and then just say sort by key. So it's done. Right. So what I need to do is, as you know, I need to convert this guy into this guy. Now you guys tell me what should I write, okay? Just wanted to make sure that you understand this syntax. See, this is my key and this is my value. I'm converting into this as a key and this as a value. So when you want to convert any RDD into pair RDD, what do you need to do? Map to pair function is what you need to call. Correct? So map to pair is what you need to call here, and let me just do this. So result dot map to pair, new pair function. Okay. Yeah. Now you tell me what should I write here. This is one is my input, then I will have an output also. So what should be the data type here for input and output? String, integer, okay. Just think over it and then tell me. Is it really string, integer or something else? See, you need to understand what we are doing. We are actually calling map to pair on the result RDD, right? Result RDD already has a key value pair. Okay. And what is an object that we create for holding this key value? This is the guy. So you are telling here as tuple 2. Tuple 2 string integer. Tuple 2 basically is nothing but, see, this is one tuple, right? So this is one tuple object. So I have to define that entire type itself, tuple 2, and inside that the key is string and the value is integer. So that's what you are defining here, tuple 2 string integer. And then the result is what you are returning as a key and a value again, where you want key to be the count, which is this. So it should be integer and the value to be string. Okay. This will solve my problem. Is everyone clear as of now? Any doubts? What I have done here? Any doubts here? Okay. So that completes my this method. Now what you need to do is, here I just need to write a simple logic. What I am expecting here is, I want to swap this data. Key should become value, value should become key in the new RDD. So that's what you should be doing. So whatever is the new object, let's say this is my tuple object. I'm just doing this, tuple dot swap. Done. Very simple. I'm just saying that please swap the tuple objects. So the key becomes value, value becomes key. That's it. Nothing else. So now what we need to do, once I get this, in fact, you know what, I don't need to even do anything. I can just do this, sort by key and then dot. Let me do this. This is how you can chain all the methods together and you can solve the problem. Instead of assigning it into one variable and then assigning it to another variable, another RDD, I'm just calling all the methods one by one, chaining. Okay. So I'm just doing. Okay. So Deepak, what we are doing is, when do we need swapping? You just see, observe here. What I want to do first, problem statement is, I want to find out, I want to basically display all the ad providers in an order in which their count is maximum. So first this guy should be present, then this guy, then this guy. So to do that, I need to swap the data. So whatever key and value you had, I want to swap it so that value becomes key and key becomes value. The reason to swap is, RDD already had a method call or a transformation called sort by key. So it automatically sorts all the objects based on the key. Right? So we wanted to leverage that transformation. That is the reason why we did a swap here. Is that clear? So once you swap it, this data becomes a key here and this data becomes a value here. And after that, if I call sort by key on that particular object, what happens? All the values will be sorted accordingly. I mean, it's actually a key now. So it has sorted all the values and accordingly it has got the result. That's what we did. So did you all understand this line? I'm actually, it's a chaining of transformation. So you are just chaining all the transformation and at the end you are calling some action. That is also possible. Like that also you can do that. Okay, any questions on this? So I have done the, completed the program which I wanted to do. So let me know if any questions, or else I'll go ahead and execute. Cool. So let me go ahead and execute now. I'll be exporting it as a jar, and then we'll execute that program again. The same program I'm executing, but I just want to change the output location because it is write once, read many times. So it says yes, it has successfully executed that. We are done with that. So let me go ahead and see the output. It's output 1 part 000. So you can see that it has sorted based on the values. Okay. So is everyone clear with that? Any doubts here? All right. So now let's move on to the next problem. Okay. So there is a new problem that we are going to understand, where I'll be showing you a new transformation, and we'll also see the example here where how do you join two different files, or how do you basically process data from multiple files in Spark. Okay, that is the program we are going to write here. So I'll repeat again. Till now we have been seeing a program where we actually used to process one file in a program and then get the output. But now we are going to see, if I have more than one file, how do I process it? And once you understand this, after that, if you have 2 file or 20 file, it doesn't matter. You know how to process it. So it becomes easy for you to process multiple file as well. Now for that, I have taken one example. I think people who have attended my Hadoop class would know about this data, but for them it will be a different exercise because we are going to do the same problem in Spark now. So let's say I have a movies data. I'm actually basically taking a data set from one of the websites who actually provides ratings to the movies. Okay, so I have a movie data set. Just one second. This is the movie file, and I have a rating file. Okay. So let me give you a little bit background. So basically, we are taking one data set. I'm sure all of you know IMDb, right? Where you get to see the rating of different movies. So in these kind of in IMDb, basically when you want to see the ratings of the movies, right? What happens here is people normally rate it, different critics rate it, give the review on that. So these kind of websites, they analyze the data which is basically stored, or which is basically available for different movies. It's a very rich data set. What they do is they do analysis on top of this data, basically to get the review of different movies, and they want to basically analyze that data, and they sell these analytics services to the outer world, to the production house companies. So if someone really wants to invest some amount, say let's say there is a production house company who wants to make money out of something, and they want to find out whether I should be really investing in this project or not, then these companies can help them decide that based on the analysis that they do on the data sets, and that they basically provide them that service. So it's a very good business, and as you can see, even entertainment industry also is actually leveraging big data technologies heavily to solve such problems. And if you remember, I have in fact discussed this, some of you who are part of Hadoop Plus, I have discussed one case study that one of the production house company in India who wanted to do some analytics, they basically were producing a movie called 1920, and that movie, the first part was average hit. It didn't do much well, and then they wanted to produce a sequel of it, and before they release it, they wanted to make sure that they will hit a revenue target which their producers have decided. So without releasing a movie, how will you say that I'll get this much money, right? So they wanted to make sure that they will get that much money. So for that, they actually went to a company based in Pune in India, and from there they wanted to leverage some analytics services. Now Pune-based company couldn't really do much there, so they have outsourced it to the IIM Bangalore, Indian Institute of Management, one of the best premier institute in India for management study, of course, but they also have one of the department which does analytics. So one of their professors, in fact, we have in fact had one conference where he has presented that case study. So that's why I'm just trying to share that concept with you. So they have presented that, and they told that we took that data from the producers of that movie, and we basically got all the information about their actors, their writers and movies, songs, everything, and then they started analyzing it. Now tell me one thing, if you want to analyze such kind of entertainment data, what is the best source where you can go and analyze? Which is the source that you think should be considered for analyzing this data? Yes, Swadip. So movie site is definitely, the basically IMDb kind of sites, right? That's what you mean. Yes, Deepto, that's right. So media, social media. So yes, of course. So this IMDb kind of websites, which actually gives you the idea about. I mean, it helps you to get the reviews about different movies, and at the same time, they also go to social media like Facebook, Twitter, and find out what people were talking and thinking about that movie. So what they have done is they used this media data, they went to this social media, and of course IMDb kind of movie reviews. You have Rotten Tomatoes, you have IMDb, all these movie rating websites. They went and they basically try to get the information about that first part of that movie 1920, and they try to analyze that how people reacted to that, what kind of, whether they liked it, they did not like it, and all that, what was the reason why they did not like it. So that is called sentiment analysis. They were actually doing a sentiment analytics. They used some of the machine learning algorithm to do sentiment analytics from the text data. Only this is all text data, no other fancy data they had. Only text data they had from there. Like say Twitter, if someone has posted a message, they just wanted to analyze that message data and then find out how many people have actually liked that movie, or what was he trying to say when he put some comment. Does that user really like that movie or not? So there are, of course, we don't really want to get into that algorithm, but there are various ways you find out whether this is a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment, and based on that, decide further. So they actually did many things, and then they figured out that okay, so a lot of people did not really like it, and the sentiment was not so positive. Okay, and there were too many negative sentiment. So they said that you will never able to hit the revenue target which you have already decided for. I mean, they have given that feedback to the producers, but producers have said that what are you talking? You are saying that based on the current sentiments, we would have already received so much. We would have only received this much money, but last part of the movie, the first part of the movie was really very well received, and we really hit a good revenue number. So then these people were actually surprised to notice that then why our algorithm is saying that there is too many negative sentiments. So what happened was, actually this movie is a horror movie. Okay, it's a horror movie, so that obviously people will say there are too much horror, there is a lot of scary scenes, not good, something like that. So these words are actually converting things into negative sentiments, and algorithm was catching these words and trying to categorize it into the negative sentiment. So that was a problem. In fact, the movie was a horror movie. That doesn't mean it's a bad movie, right? So then they tried to obviously add those words into the dictionary, and then they tried to again run those algorithms, created a new models, and then figured out that yeah, that movie was an average hit, and it was really well received by the people. So after that, what they decided, so this is about one section of it. Now after that, what they have decided, they actually decided that okay, let's try to increase the marketing of this movie. So in fact here, if you notice, big data can be used here also. So what they have done, they tried to advertise in social media. Let's say Twitter, they put a movie preview. Facebook also, they've created a movie page and all that, and they just wanted to understand how people are going to react about this movie. And a lot of people started commenting on that. They are visiting this page and they are commenting on various stuff that they like or they don't like. The idea here was, the marketing on a social media was not being done so frequently initially by any company, but then these people, they started doing it, and the major reason was they wanted to create awareness of that movie to all the people. Doesn't matter whether people say that it's a pathetic movie, first part was bad, so this part will also be bad. It doesn't matter. Even if they say that, it's fine. Why? Because negative comments will also increase the publicity and marketing. So they actually use that media, and finally at the end, basically they have done a lot of other stuff, but at the end these people hit the revenue target which they wanted to achieve, right? So and by the way, second part was not so good. That is also the fact. So you can see now here that how these kind of technologies will really help you achieve some good benefits in a business. So I'm just trying to highlight the reason why I spent this case study, just to give you an idea that there are a lot of such sectors where big data is being used heavily. So it's a great opportunity in this field. Actually, you can do lot many things. You go to any company who is working on any domain, sooner or later they will definitely need analytics on top of that, and that's the reason why it's good to be in this space. All right, anyway, so what I am doing is, that's the reason why I took this case study. So we'll basically take we'll first, let me explain you what we have. This is a movie file. So a movie file, as you can see, will contain a couple of columns: the movie ID, the movie name, and of course the genre details. Okay, 3 columns, and this is not a fake data, it's actually a real data. So you can see that there are about 3,800 movies are there. And then there is a rating file which contains the ratings of that movie by the different users. So you can see here there is a user ID, excuse me, there is a movie ID, there is a rating, and there is a timestamp. So you can see that so many lines or so many such records will have first column as 1. Why? Because it's the same user who has rated all these different movies. Second column is a movie ID and third column is a rating. So out of 5, how much rating was given to that movie. And then the last column is a timestamp. Okay, so there are basically lots of users who have given the rating. As you can see that now user 2 has given the rating, and accordingly you have so much of data. So if you count this ratings data, it's about 1 million records are there in this file. Okay, so it's a big file. You have 1 million records in this file. So the movie ID is the first column, by the way. The first column is a movie ID. Okay. Clear? Is that clear, Ditto, or any confusion? No, movie file doesn't have any user ID. Movie file just have a movie ID, movie name, and the genre detail. All right. Excuse me. Now what we need to do is we need to basically start processing it. First of all, I'll tell you the problem statement. So you have a movies file which contains movie ID and the genre detail and movie name, and there is another file which contains ratings. Okay, rating given to that movie by different users. So as you can see here, one movie can be rated by many number of users, right? As you can see, one movie can be rated by many users, and at the same time one user can rate many movies, correct? So what is the relation here? Many to many, right? N cross N is the relation. So we want to solve this problem where we wanted to find out all the movies who are rated as 5 more than 1000 times. I will repeat. Get me the details, or let's for example, let's say get me the genre of all the movies which are rated as 5 more than 1000 times. Did you understand the problem statement? Let me know in case if any questions. Today somehow I'm not getting many questions. Does that mean that people are really understanding everything? Sure, Swadip. So I'll repeat again. So first of all, let me explain the data set again in this file. You have a movie ID, you have a movie name, and then you have a genre details. These are the 3 columns, okay? Let me just write it here itself. Something like this. Let's say this is movie ID, movie name, and genre details. Okay? These 3 columns are there. And this is user ID, movie ID, rating, and timestamp. when the movie has been rated by that user. So these are the two columns I have. Okay, let us see them side by side. These are the two columns I have. Okay, from these are the two files I have basically, and what I want to do is I want to find out how many, get me the genre, right? Get me the genre of each movie who is rated more than 1,000 times as 5. For example, take this movie ID 1. If this movie ID 1 was a big hit and if it was rated as 5, that means so many people have liked it. That means many people would have given rating as 5 to this movie ID. And we just need to count total number of ratings given to that movie, like total number of ratings which are 5. If it is more than 1,000, then we need to write that data in a file. Okay, so it's like this: get me the genre of all the movies which are rated as 5 more than 1,000 times. Is that clear now? Problem statement. So, Manoj, as I said, right, I'll be doing it using Java first, and since I'm not taking too many Scala because we have not yet understood the Scala syntax itself. In the next session, we'll be starting from the basics of Scala, and then we'll do a lot more Scala programs there. Okay? So don't worry, we are actually trying to balance out both the stuff. So we'll also solve problems using Scala in the next session, and that will be completely dedicated on Scala only, because I want to also cover some of the basic programming topics of Scala as well. Yeah, but it is the same, right? Even okay, that's fine actually. So we are anyway doing it both mix, and the next session is a dedicated session for Scala. So as far as you are understanding the concept, it should be fine. And I'd probably do something after this program. Let me also take some Scala program, okay? So that you will be happy. Cool, no problem, Sudeep. So that is fine actually. If you can do that, it's more than enough. Anyway, any questions on this problem statement, by the way? All right, cool. So let me start writing a program for that, okay? Let us create a class and let's start writing a program for that. I'm actually showing this as a joint demo because it's movies and rating site, but ultimately both of them you need to join. Why do you really need to join here? Because as you know, I want to get the genre of all each movie which is rated as 5 more than 1,000 times. So here you have movie ID and rating details, but here you have movie ID and the genre details. So what is the common column? Your common column is a movie ID, right? In both the files. So you definitely need to join these two files based on the movie ID. Okay, and that is the main concept behind this problem. So we need to actually solve this problem by actually taking a movie ID as a common column. Cool. So let's start writing the program. So okay, this is fine. Now we need to start reading the file. So I'll do this. I'll read a movie file and process it. Yes, Ditto, that's right. That's correct. So you need to write both the files. First, let's say I'm reading a movie file and I'll be processing that file. So what will you do? You'll just say sc dot read that file. First argument, we are assuming we are giving a movie file, which actually gives me a create an RDD of movies. So I'll just take it as movies as an RDD which is created. Okay. Once you create a movies RDD, what you really need to do, see, first of all, understand this, that these two files which you have, you want to join these two files, right? And how do you join it? You want to join it based on the movie ID, because that is a common column between these two files. Now, people who have already gone through this problem in MapReduce, you know that we have taken the key as a movie ID for both of these mapper class. See, in MapReduce, what you need to do in case if you want to solve this problem, you need to write two mapper classes, right? Each mapper class is going to process this data separately and independently, correct? So both the mapper classes, the output of that, we were writing the key as a movie ID. Okay. Same, and so that when the shuffle and sort happens, it combines all the values of the same key from both the mapper class. So automatically we relied on the joins during shuffle and sort phase. Similarly here, if I want to join these two files, I should also write data in the form of key and value so that I can join both the RDDs. So when you want to join any operations, right? Let me just write it something here just to explain you that part. I have a movie file, I have a rating file. Okay. So movie file, first what I'm doing, I'll be reading the data. So it will be, let's say movie ID is, let's say 100. I'll just take it as 100. Okay. Then there is a movie name X, and then there is a genre as, let's say, genre 1. Right, and then there is movie ID 200, movie name is Y, genre is, let's say, genre 2. Let's say this is my RDD, this is my movie RDD, and in the rating RDD, of course, I'm reading a rating file which contains user ID 1. It has, let's say, rated movie 100 as 5, right? Similarly, user ID 2 has rated movie 100 as 4. And let's say user ID 3 rated 200 movie as 1. 4 has rated 100 movie as 5. Likewise, there are a lot of such rating, right? So this is my rating RDD. Now these two RDDs, I want to join them. So what the crux or the logic that we need to write it in such a way that first this RDD, I want to convert it into a pair RDD. So what should we write in this pair RDD as a key and value? You take key which is the common column between both the files. So it is a movie ID. So I'm taking key as 100 and the value as G1. Key is 200 and the value as G2. Right? This is my pair RDD for movie pair RDD. And here in rating RDD, again I have to convert it into a pair RDD with key and value. So key will be a movie ID and the value is the actual rating. Movie ID, rating. For every record you will convert it like this, right? Movie ID, rating, movie ID, rating. Right? This is my rating pair RDD. Okay. Now these two RDD, once you get it, what you need to do? You need to just join them together. Okay. When you join them, you will basically get something like this. Okay, sorry. Here actually before you join, what you can do is, as we discussed, when we write the data in this pair RDD, we should just put only those records which are having rating as 5, correct? I don't really need anything else. If you can see, I'm filtering out here itself. If the data has, if the rating is 5, then only I'll put it in this pair RDD, otherwise I'll not do it. Okay? So that's something that you should definitely be doing it. So that's the reason where you need to apply a filter logic also here. So you can actually filter out here itself and create another RDD which just contains this 105 and 105. How many times a particular movie is rated as 5? That's it. And then these two guys, we are going to join them. Okay. I'm going to join them so that what happens, for the same key I'm going to join it. So it will become something like this 100, and then you will actually get the data something like this G1 and this 5 5 whatever 200, so you don't have any data, so no join, so something like this. And then from here I can count this and I can find out how many times it becomes more than 1000 times. Yes, Pradeep, that's what we need to do. That is also possible. You can do that also. That's a good thought. You can in fact do that also. You can directly filter this into one more time and just get all the counts. So you can just do, how many times the movie has been rated as 5 more than 1000 times, and then you can join it with this guy. That is also possible. Okay, but it's a different approach, different way of solving it. It's absolutely fine. How do you take that approach? So is everyone clear with this? Any questions on this, what I'm doing here? Alright, so let's start writing the program. So we are basically creating this thing. So here, as you can see, I have loaded the movie file. Now what you need to do, as we can see from here, we are actually converting this data. This is my movie RDD, okay, which we have already loaded here. So I have loaded a movie RDD. We are good here. From there, I want to convert it into a pair RDD, which will contain key as a movie ID and value as a genre. So how do you do that? You will use map to pair function, right? So you'll just say movies dot map to pair new pair function. Okay. Now this new pair function, you will get output as key and value. The input is a string. Output has to be a key and a value. So since my movie ID is integer, I'll be taking that as a key, and the value is genre, which is a string. Okay. And then I'll just use this add unimplemented method, which takes the call. So what it does, it says there is a input which comes as a entire string. This is the input, and then output, once I split it, I will split it into key and value. Key will be the movie ID, which is integer. Value will be the genre, which is string. That's the reason why I'm giving it here. So string, integer, string. Okay. And this is my entire row which comes. So what we will be doing here is we'll be just writing a new tuple. First I'll split row based on columns. Okay, I'll get columns, and then I'll create a new tuple object. So the movie ID in the first column is in the movie file, the first column is movie ID, third column is genre. So accordingly, I have to write it here: column 0 and columns of 2. Okay. This I have to convert it into integer. Since it's a string value, I am converting it into integer. That's it. So this is my movie ID. This is my genre details, and I'm just creating that as a key value, creating a new tuple object, returning that. So this guy will create a new pair RDD. So it will be something like this: movie pair RDD. Okay. My movie pair RDD is done. I'm done with movie file processing. Okay. I don't need to be worried here. Now I'll be processing a rating file. Read a rating file and process it. So again, let us do this. Whatever we have done for the movie file. So let me just copy this. Let's say I want to copy this ratings. I'll read a second file as the rating file, and then in that what you'll be doing, you will just say ratings dot map to pair. Why? Because this is my rating RDD which I have created. From there I want to convert it into a pair RDD of ratings. So I'll be doing ratings dot map to pair. Okay, and again it has to be the movie ID is a key, and the value is the rating, which is also integer in this case. Alright, so that we will implement a method which is unimplemented for this class. Okay. rating per RDD. Okay. So this completes my rating per RDD. Here, when I get the row, I'll also split that row. And I'll be writing a new tuple object, tuple2. I have to, convert everything into integer like this. So I'll just say, or you can actually take them as a separate, I'll just do this. Integer rate, let's say movie ID equals to this, and integer rating equals to this. And then you'll just say movie ID, rating ID. That's it. Done. Okay. So this is my per RDD. So at the end, what it should come, this is the RDD which I am creating. Movie ID is a key, value is a rating. Okay. Not here, Rajesh. The condition will do when we filter it out. Okay. You need to filter this RDD, then you can call the conditions on that. So this is so basically I have reached this step. I have actually put it here. Because Rajesh, it actually processes every record and then convert it into every record like this. So even if you don't put it, it will be null. So I don't want to have those null records. That's why let it be like this and then you filter it so that it will be cleaner way of eliminating those records. So everybody is clear as of now. Any questions? Let me know. No, Dipto. Next RDD will be having a filter. So we'll call filter function on rating per RDD. Okay. Cool. So let me go ahead and start writing a filter function. So you'll have a rating per RDD. Okay. We'll call a filter on that. So we are doing filter on the rating per RDD, and what does it do? Here I'll write a comment: filtering all, filtering the data based on rating more than rating to 5. Okay. So I am actually, see, this function takes an input which is a tuple. Why? Because you are calling a transformation on a pair RDD. When you call a transformation on a pair RDD, it will always take the input parameter as a tuple object. Here you have a input parameter as a tuple object. Internally it will have key value as integer, and we know that rating RDD will have integer only, right? Pair RDD, because both movie ID and rating is integer. And the output is true or false, because filter means should I include it or not? Should I include this particular pair of data or not? So that is what that will be decided based on the boolean, true or false. So this is my tuple object. What I will do is I'll just do this: if tuple dot underscore 2 equals 5, return true. Okay, I am done with my code here. As you can see, what is this underscore 2? Underscore 2 means, underscore 1 means key and underscore 2 means value. So in tuple object you can actually access your key and value as underscore 1 and underscore 2. That is one more feature that I wanted to show you. Okay, so any tuple will basically be accessed using this. You can just say underscore 1 or underscore 2 and you can get your data. That's it, my job is done. So I have a filter RDD which contains, again, rating. I would just say higher rating. Okay. And from that higher rating, I want to count, or I want to include only those data which contains 5 more than 1000 times. Now you tell me what logic I should write. For example, no Deepto, it's not Java Spark. It is there in Scala also. You can directly access tuple dot underscore 2 or underscore 1 in Scala also. As you can see here, some of the APIs is Scala only. See, for example, if you do this, it says Scala dot tuple 2 dot underscore 2. So this is actually a Scala object. This tuple 2 which I am referring is a Scala object, but it has been imported in Java itself. Okay. So is everyone clear here? Any doubts on this filtering logic? Please let me know if you have any doubts here. No, Deepto, it's not like that. Basically, see, if it is in if loop, it will always return true. So it will never execute this statement. And if it doesn't go to if loop, it will just return false. So instead of saying else return false, you can ignore it. Okay. So let's continue forward. Now that's the question I was asking to all of you. Now what I want to do is before I move and join data with this guy, what if I can actually just calculate how many movies are rated as 5 more than 1,000 times? If I can do that, it makes my job easier, right? I'll only include those movie IDs which are rated as 1,000 times. Are we getting it? So right now it may be possible that the movie ID 100 is rated only 5 as 2 times and movie ID 300 is rated as 5 as 1,000 times. But still all this data is present. So can I somehow, filter out that portion? What logic I should be writing? Can you tell me? Based on all the transformation that we have learned so far. And irrespective of Java or Scala, you need to use the same logic. So tell me, what should we do here? Yes, very good, Sadeep and Dipto. That's the correct way to do that. So you basically need to first do reduce by key and then do filter. Good, you are actually, grabbing that. That is very nice. Give me just 1 minute. All right, so let me get started on that portion. So we'll basically do this reduce by key, higher rating dot reduce by key. New function, sorry, new function Alright. So this does reduce by key. We are just writing argument 0 plus argument of 1. Done. This will solve my problem, right? I'll call more than 1000 is an RDD. Okay, I'm just giving these names just so that we can highlight. I mean, what data we have in this RDD. RDD with data and rating 1000 times. Okay. We are right, Dipto. So we can just do this. Simple, right? So that should solve that problem. And then on that itself, I can actually do filter here. So I can just say more than 1000. So this solves my problem of finding out the total number of. So let me give some good name here. Let's say this is my filtered out data and I'll just take it as, let's say, rating RDD. Okay, which contains all the data which I wanted here. So my rating RDD is done, which has the movie ID, the count, and it is more than 1000 times comes. So the rating ID is there and the movie ID is already there. So movie and rating RDD. Yes, Deepto, that's right. Argument 0 is a tuple, right? So you can just access the second value, which is a count, which should be the count, right? So I have a rating and movie ID. What I will do is I'll just say movie pair RDD dot join rating RDD. Not rating pair, it's rating RDD. In reduced by key, the argument 0 and argument 1 are the two values, right? So it will take for any two value, I'm just doing 1 plus 1. This is a count. Okay, that way you are asking. Yes, argument 0 is a movie ID, that's right. Argument 0 is a movie ID, argument 1 is a rating. not here, okay? I mean, this is key, this is value. But what you will do, you will only take, in reduce by key, you will only take values. You don't take key because you are already reducing by a similar key. So movie ID is not argument 0, it's actually rating. This is also rating, this is also rating. So it will be 5 plus 5. You only figured that out, right? Okay, let's say join data. So I'll get the join data like this. Now before I move forward, please let me know in case if everyone is clear with this code which I'm writing. Are we able to follow up everyone? Please let me know any question is there. I'll be happy to answer that. Sure, Deepak. Let me explain this. So let me just delete some of the stuff here which is not required, okay? So let's say this was your data, okay? Now assume that after this I have filtered that out and got only those movies which are rated as more than 1000 times. So 100 is, let's say, rated as 1000 times. Let's say there is a movie ID 300 which is rated as, let's say, 1500 times. These are the two data which comes, and I'll also write something like this, movie ID G3. Okay. Now these two files I'm joining. This is my rating RDD and this is my movie RDD. These two I'm joining. So what happens? It finally creates a join data for the same key. So 100, and I'll have G1, which is a genre, comma 1000. Okay. And then 300, and I'll have G3, comma 1500. This is how your data will be combined. So if you check the structure of this RDD, what is that? It's a key value pair only, but key is a integer. So that's why you are having this data. Key is an integer, value is a tuple object, right? Because it is combining both the data from movie and rating, both the values from movie and rating, right? Genre and rating. That's why it becomes a tuple. In that, again, it's a data type for this. So it's a string which is a genre and integer which is a total count. That's how it does the join. So very simple. You can do join like this. One RDD dot join another RDD, and you can achieve a join. But till then, but make sure both the RDD will be in the form of keys and values where the key will be the common key for both the RDDs. Then we'll be able to join it successfully. Is that clear now, Deepak? Anybody else has any question on this? No, Deepta, it will be something like this only. Whatever this I am showing, this is your output. If you this doesn't help you in flattening, right? This is not like flattening. Actually, this is flattening will not work here. This is just a tuple as a value, so there is no problem. You can write it as it is. In case if you want to beautify it and you want to extract again genre as this and then value as this, then you can again create a new RDD, again map to pair and then do it that way. Okay. So that's it. Once I have this join data, I can just say join data dot save as text file, argument of 2, which is a third argument where I want to store the result, and then finally I'll say sc dot close. It will close the excuse me, the Sparks context. That's it. Okay. So this is how you write that entire code. I hope even people who are not familiar with Java, you are able to got it, right? Or is there any question anybody has? Please let me know. Feel free to ask any question if you have. Okay. So Kiran, basically here, see what you really want to do when you get to, we were actually getting something like this, right? Arg of 0. Okay, can I do something like this? For example, arg 0, I'll set it as 1. Arg 1, I'll set it as 1. And then I'll be doing this, arg of 1. Okay, will it really help now? Understanding why I am doing this? See, the question was, for example, let's take this example. Let's say I want to find out how many times this movie ID is rated as 5. For example, in this particular RDD, movie ID 100 is rated as 5 how many times? 2 times. But what if I do 5 plus 5? It becomes 10. So it will give me wrong count, right? So that's why instead of that, what if I do 1 and 1 here and just do 1 plus 1? Then it gives me 2, which is a correct count. That's the reason why I want to convert first into that 1 and then I will basically do this step. Does that make sense? But anyway, thanks for asking this question, Kiran, because some people may have this doubt, so it's good that everyone gets the clarity. Let me know like this if you have any other questions. The reason why I took this example so that lot of such things will be covered. Like you now understand how to play with the RDD, how to create pair RDD, how to play with that, change the data within that call method. How do you join it? How do you filter out, and how do you access a tuple key and value? Lot of stuff are covered in this one program. So that's the important point actually. Do we have count with where clause option? So Gagan, I mean, if you are relating it with SQL, where, see, you are writing an SQL query with a where condition, correct? What does where condition do? It will filter it out, correct? So you have a filter transformation here. And then when you do count, you will do reduce by key, which will help you get the count of all the values for the same key. So the same thing actually, that group by or a where condition can be achieved with reduce by and filter. Okay. When we go and check, when we'll be basically be covering Spark SQL, that time you will see that in Spark SQL you will actually write lot of inbuilt functions which does those filtering. So there you can directly write where and all that. But for that you need to access a new object called data frame, which is called schema RDD. We'll cover that in Spark SQL. Yeah, correct, Gagan. I got your point. So that's what I'm saying. So you have something called schema RDD. This is a normal RDD and pair RDD, which doesn't have that function. But if you create a schema RDD, which will have that function. Okay. Any further questions before I execute? All right. So let me go ahead and execute it. Let me execute this as a Spark jar. So let us export it. By the way, if you notice, I have already copied the data inside this. There is a movies file and there is a rating files already available in the data directory of SDFS. So we can directly go and execute that rather than copying the data first in SDFS. So we'll just say Spark submit. Right. So first two files is movies and ratings. Why? Because if you see this code, I am first taking argument of 0 to process a movie file. I am taking an argument of 1 to process a rating file. And then I am finally writing the output into the final output file and save as text file. That's why I'm taking it that way. Let us execute this. If so, you can specify number of threads. This is strange. It has not written anything. No, it is a transformation. Let me just do one thing. Yes, Kiran. So I'm just trying to change this logic and see if it works. Because in Scala it works. So in Java, I just want to make sure that it works or not. Let us do one thing. Since anyway we have all the 555s, I can just do this. Let me quickly do this, and just to rule out the problem, let me try doing it. Sorry, just 1 second. Just give me a minute. I'll explain you what. Uh, okay. So let me execute this and check the output this time. Let's see the output this time. Oops, something goes wrong actually here. It should work. I don't know why it's not working. Let's say if I just comment the filter logic right now, and yeah, that's what I'm also thinking, Gagan, and that's why I'm trying to, let's reduce that to 100 probably. 100 times it should be rated. So let me just export it. This is jar and run it. Sorry. Let's see what happens now. Nope, there is something wrong with the code, I guess. Interesting. Let me do that. Let me check. It should work. Let's do one thing, guys. I mean, I'm really sorry to keep you holding. I think there is some minor issues here, which I need to go and debug it. But anyway, I'm holding you for a longer time, so we can actually go for a break. We'll come back and then I'll sort it out. Is that fine with everyone? Yeah, Dipto. We'll do that. Yeah, but let's yeah come back after the break and then continue. Okay. All right, guys. So see you all after the break. Are we all back? Okay, so let me continue. In fact, before the break, we were actually facing an issue with the join demo that we were seeing actually. So the error was very silly error actually, and that's why it was not working. So I'll tell you the error. Basically, the problem was when it was when we have loaded the data right in the rating file, we were not giving the right column indexes as a key and value. Here also I have given column of 0 and column of 1 as movie ID and rating ID for the rating file. Whereas in the rating file, if you see, the first column is a user ID and the second column is a movie ID and the third column is a rating. So actually I misplaced the order of the columns, and because of which the entire calculation went wrong. Okay. So it was a minor problem. After I fixed that, it worked fine. So it was like there were some movies which were greater than 1000 and we were able to get the result. Okay. So let me first execute this program and show you the result as it is, and then we can discuss about the changes. So I'll just execute the same program right now. Okay. This is my program, and let's say I want to execute it. So it should be giving the output in join result 3 directory in SDFS. Okay, the output is done. So let us go and see the output. So as you can see that we got the movie ID, the genre, and the total count for that, which are rated as 5. Okay. So these many movies are rated as 5 more than 1000 times. There are about 20 odd movies, and each movie's rating is more than 1000 here. Okay. So that's how we can solve this problem. All right. The previous program that we have written was perfectly fine. Only difference was in the rating file. I have actually misplaced the column order. It was from 0 and 1. Now it has become 1 and 2. So I should take the second column, which was a movie ID. Instead of that, I was taking first column, which was a user ID as a movie ID. So that's why it was not able to join, because both the IDs were different. So Deepto, you don't trust me, is it? Anyway, let me do that. If you want to check the output like this, we can do that. It's not an issue. Just give me a second. Just 1 second, okay? I'll do that. I'll share it as it is so that you will get the idea. Oh, okay, okay. You mean to say the reduce by key of 1 plus 1, is it? That's what you are referring? Yeah, Aditya. So it was not working because reduced by key 1 plus 1 will give you only 2. Hard code, we are hard coding it, right? So here actually, let me check if it was there. Yeah, this was the thing, right? So if you run it with this, right, it always gives you 2 for each key. It's just a hard coding actually. So that's why it was not able to count everything actually. We thought it will count, but it did not count. That's the reason why I have to change this code and I have to actually use this particular code. Are you getting this? Okay, so I'll also explain you what happened here. So let me just comment it and I'll show you this part which we have done to resolve this. So what does this do is this guy will actually first convert your key. So I have done something like this. So when I had keys like this, which is 105, 105, and let's say 105, and 205 and 205. When I had these kind of keys in my, RDD, pair RDD, I actually convert it into first this manner where I have created key as a movie ID which is 101, 101, 101. Instead of 5, I'll make it as 1 because then only I can sum it up. And from there, oh, sorry. Let me share the screen. Okay. So earlier, as I was mentioning, the data was in this fashion. So I had a movie ID and the rating as 5. But then I have converted it into movie ID and the 1. 1 is the occurrence of that 5. And from here, when you do reduce by key, you can actually count all this. Right? So which makes us something like this. 100, 3, 200, 2. So that's how we could basically solve this problem. So the earlier thing was not working. That is the reason why we had to change it to this particular logic. What I'm doing, I'm taking this RDD, this particular RDD, and I'll say map to pair. And then what I do, I'll basically just do this. I'll return a new tuple where argument 0._1, which is the movie ID, which will be the key. So movie ID is a key, but the value I'm hard coding it to 1 here. Okay. And then on top of that, I'm also calling a reduce by key. So when I say reduce by key, you will basically get the count of all the ones here. So finally, this guy will get this particular high rating pair RDD is this one. So I can actually do filtering on this. Whichever has a count greater than 1000, I will only include them in the next RDD, and from there I can join it with the movie RDD. So what I did here is high rating pair RDD was there, right? So I was actually trying to I think this was an older code, right? So I had to change it. Yeah, high rating pair dot filter, and then I'll just check if the value part is greater than 1000, then only include them, otherwise not. That will give me the final rating RDD, and that is what I'm joining it with the movie RDD. So that's how we are basically able to join the data, and we'll get this result where movie ID is a key. As you can see here, movie ID has to be the key, and the value will be the genre, total count. So value will be the genre and the total count is a tuple. That's how we could solve this problem. So is that clear with everyone? Yes, Gagan. So actually that's what we understood right earlier, that yeah, I'm sorry. So let me first answer your question. So Gagan, you are saying that each RDD, if they are put it in memory, then there is too much space which is being used in memory, which is not really efficient thing, right? So you are right. If there are too many RDDs which are put it in the memory, definitely it is going to, blow up the memory, because it will need lot of space. But then what it does is, remember we discussed that earlier, that there is something called LRU policy, least recently used policy. Based on that, it tries to remove your RDD from the memory and it will put it in the disk, right? So accordingly, it will only, Spark is intelligent enough to remove the RDD from the memory which is not used very recently, correct? That's how it creates a space. Is that clear? So Spark takes care of managing it internally. We don't need to worry about it. And again, I would recommend you to please rewatch first and second session video where we have covered it in detail. Yes, Gagan. So you can do that if you want to. Let's say if you have cached it. If you have not cached the RDD, you don't need to do unpersist. Once you have cached it, you can do unpersist. Otherwise, unpersist will not really take any effect, because anyway, Spark is going to unpersist it based on the LRU. So Dipto, but what you are suggesting is actually little longer process. I mean, you can do it in multiple ways, but that is little longer process to complete it, because you are again parallelizing it, then you are doing it. Why to do all this? Instead of that, this is fine, right? And then when you are taking the count, you are also filtering it there, and then you are joining it, because ultimate goal was to join it with movie data. That's the reason why we need to do it this way. Okay, so this was the example which actually helped us understood lot of thing actually. So I would recommend that everyone should practice it. I will share this code with you. You should practice it, at home, and try to solve this. First, try to do it by yourself so that you will get some good confidence in writing this Spark program. Okay. But are we all finding it good? Any problem here? Any questions anybody has? Did we all understand this part? Yes, Dipto. This is the one? Is that what you're referring? Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so here actually what I'm doing is I'm creating a new tuple. Basically, see, in map to pair, what you need to do, you are creating an RDD, you are actually creating a pair RDD, right? So when you create a pair RDD, you have to return tuple to object. and there you need to specify what is the key and value in that. So the key will be my movie ID, and the value is 1. That's what I'm doing here. Okay. Yeah, any further questions anyone has on this? Okay, sure, no problem. So now what we'll be doing is we'll switch to Scala. We'll do some programs in Scala. Okay. So let me just open a Spark shell and do that. I'll be taking yesterday's example because someone was asking me one important thing which I wanted to cover here actually. So let me switch to Scala. So I'll be creating Spark shell. Okay. And meanwhile, I'll also show you the data sets. So we did yesterday exercise that how many lines have errors, or they are good or they don't have errors. So we want to do that. We want to count the occurrences of total number of lines which are having error. That is fine. So that we already did it. So we'll not spend much time there. Alright, so we logged into the Scala. Now let's start writing that program. So what the program that we wanted to do is this particular thing only. So let me copy that file in SDFS and we'll see the count. I don't want to show that program, by the way. I want to show something else, but that requires us to do some repetition on that code. We'll just quickly write it. So okay, fine, that is done. Now what I'll be doing is I'll just create a file where se.text file. I'll quickly write the stuff. This is something that we have discussed last time, so I'm sure all of you are good with that. Okay, so we got file already created. On that file already, you want to basically do the filter. Okay, so I have done something like this. Errors count is equals to file.filter. Alright, this is something that we have done yesterday, and once you get the count, you can easily execute that error stuff. It basically, if you just do this errors count, it's a variable. So when you execute that, you just see the count which is being stored in that value, which is 2. That means in your file, you will have two lines which contains errors, right? So we are good as of now. We did it yesterday. Now I think someone has asked me the questions yesterday that how do we store the data of this? I mean, if I want to store this count in the file, how do I do that, right? So we see error count is a variable. It is not an RDD. So for example, if you do this file dot filter and this will give me the RDD, but dot count is an action, so it will not give me any RDD, right? It's a result. So on that value, it's a normal variable. In that integer value, it will basically, you can call some syntax. So Omkar, what happens is this is called functional programming, where inside a function, filter is a function on an object. Inside that, I'm actually writing a logic directly. You don't need to write a function name and then pass the argument and then open and close bracket. All this stuff are avoided. Just write what exactly you want to do in that function for every record of that object. So file is basically the object which contains, for example, here, this is my file which contains, info message, error message, right? Error message. So there are, let's say there are multiple such lines which comes in this file RDD. This is my file RDD. And then what you are doing, you just say filter line, this line contains, which means any object in this file RDD, which means here it will iterate through one by one on every record in this RDD, right? So it will say for any object, which means it will take info first, okay? And then it will say do this. For any object, do this. So this arrow explains this is the logic I should execute on every record of this RDD. So we are saying lines don't contains error. So if it contains error, if this line contains error, then include it in this RDD or not include. That's why we just get this RDD which contains only two lines which are having errors as a word, right? Info is not included. So this is what it does, and then finally I'm doing dot count. So I'm basically doing a count operation on this RDD count action, which gives me result as 2. Is that clear, Omkar? No, Omkar, it is not an assignment operation. It is actually basically helping you to understand what needs to be done for each record. This means for every record of this object, do this. Yeah, Raj. So here we are not passing a function within the function. Here actually we are just directly executing some logic on every record in that function. But this is a way to do that, I mean, right? So you are not really passing any function here. You are just executing a logic that needs to be, you are just passing a logic that needs to be executed on every record of that object. No, Raj, that will not be treated exactly as a function, but I mean, you can think of it as a function right now, but it's actually, it's a way of saying that please use this logic for every record like this. Yes, Manoj. So for example, let's say I will remove that. I'll remove that count and I'll just do this. In that case, what happens? It has created an RDD of string. Now, if I do errors count, it actually show me the. It's basically an RDD object. So you need to do collect, by the way. That you need to call an action. Then only it will execute that, right? So it will say these are the two records which are there in this RDD. Okay. So yeah. Now we have a count stored in the errors count. So any questions as of now? Okay. Now, as I told you, right, someone was mentioning yesterday that how do I store this count in the file? Because this is not an RDD, this is a variable. So in that case, you need to use a parallelize operation. When you have some integer values or when you have some array of integers or something like that, which is not an RDD, and if you want to store that in a file, then you need to first convert it into RDD. So how do you do that? Okay, so we'll be doing something like this. Let's say I want to create a error count list. I want to create a list of okay. So what happens is the list is, by the way, a class in Scala, so you can create a list of 1 2 3 like that. So I am creating a list which contains only one element, which is this count. Okay, so you can parallelize only a list in Scala. So I am creating first this integer, put it in the list, and then I will do parallelize. So I'll say se dot parallelize errors count list. Okay, and I will store it, let's say, in a variable called, let's say, result RDD. So when I do parallelize, it actually creates an RDD of long value. Long is nothing but this integer 2. Now I have an RDD which contains, so what I have done, I just had this 2 as a count. First I converted into the list of records. Again, that list has only one object called 2. From there I use se.parallelize on this list, so that you can create an RDD which contains 2 as an object, only one object again. And once I have an RDD, I can use save as text file to save this count into the file, right? So that is what I'm going to do now. I'll just say result RDD dot save as text file, and you will be saving it into the SDFS. Oh, spelling is wrong. Save as text file. Okay, now we can go to this particular location under Spark result, and that we can see the output. So let me go there and check. So you can see that it contains 2. That is a total count. So it is printed in the file. So is that clear? How to, print the count in the file? Any questions as of now on this? So Swadeep, as I said, Simply Learn material for Spark training doesn't have any exercises as of now. I'm just giving all these programs out of my pocket. So you can just try running them. I don't have any other separate programs, but try executing them. That should be a good exercise. Yes, that's right. Content will be printed using an action. Yes, Manoj, that's correct. So Omkar, if you want to print the content, you can just do this. For example, result RDD is there, no? Just say dot collect. It will print the contents. Let's say 2. Okay. If you don't want in that fashion, you can do it this way. For each print. This is called functional programming. You are calling a function and again passing another function inside this. So print is a function which basically prints the value. So it should be printed here. Yeah, this is the one, 2. Try exploring all these options, Omkar. Anyway, these files I'll be giving you, so just try exploring it. I mean, you can do it. The answer is yes, but try doing it. How to print it, right? That will give you good idea. So there is already take and take one or top one. I have already told you those, right? Those transform actions. So just call them. It will print the first record in that RDD. So you will get the RDD. Yes, Pradeep, that's right. Okay. Any further questions on this? Yes, Pradeep, I'll send it. I'll send it across. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the next problem. I'll take another problem where what we need to do is, let me create a file because I want to show you how do we write that program in Scala. That's why I'm taking another problem. So let's say the input file I'm creating as emp data, okay, where I have 2 columns, department and let's say salary. Okay, department ID is 1, the salary is let's say 100. So in a department, you can have, many employees, right? So you can, I'm just saying this way. So let's say there are 3 employees in department 1, which has this salary. Department 2 will have, let's say, this salary. 3 will have, let's say, this salary. Okay, 4 will have 100 or let's say 900. That's it. So let's say this is the salary I have. So it's very simple data. I have a department and a salary in that department for every employee. So what we need to do is we need to find out the minimum salary for each department. So for example, if you see here, I have 3 rows which contains department ID 1. That means you should get the salary as 100, which is the minimum in that department. In the second department, minimum is 100. In the third department, it is 500. Fourth department, it is 900. So that is what we want to do. I'm sure everyone got the problem, right? So let's try to solve this using Scala. How do we do it in Scala? Okay. So let me first copy this in SDFS so that we can call it in Scala. Alright, so we have copied the file in SDFS. Now let us start writing a program. So we'll create, let's say, employee data file. Text file. Okay. So we got the employee data file already created. Okay. Now on top of that, I actually want to what I really want to do is I want to find out the minimum. Excuse me. Where is that? Yeah, minimum salary for every employee. Now, can you tell me what logic I should write here? So I want to find out the minimum salary of a given apartment, given department. That's a problem statement. So if you see there is a department ID 1 where salary is 100, which should be the minimum. For department ID 2, the salary is 100, that should be minimum. Yes, that's right. I mean, you can do, so Dipto, if you do group by or reduce by on salary, right, what will you do after that? Yeah, it's correct. Your thought process, Raj, Dipto, Swadeep, everyone has given me the right answer only, Shiva also. I just wanted to understand what exactly you write. Okay. So basically, we all agree that first we have to create a pair RDD. Yes? So how do you create a pair RDD? This is Scala, right? So how will we create a pair RDD? Not really, Rajesh. I mean, you can do that. I mean, that is also a good thought process. But instead of that, you can use a pair RDD and you can directly use that option of minimum, finding minimum using a reduce by key. But your logic is also valid. You can also do that. You can sort it, swap it, and then get the first record, which is also possible. But in that, the only problem is it will have all the data. I want only one minimum for every department. So you still need to do some work after swapping it. Cool. So map function here, what you do is for every, let's say, object in that RDD, okay, I'll say object dot. Basically, it's all about creating a key and a value. So it's like I have this record and I want to convert it into a key and a value. Okay. So I'll just say object dot split based on comma, right? And the first column will be my key, and again I'll say object dot split based on comma, and the second column will be my value. This is what I'll be doing. The first column being the key, the second column being the value. And this is like a tuple, right, that you are creating, as we understood in Java. For an entire row, you are creating a tuple here. If you want to understand this way, uh, I have employee ID, salary, right? So what we are doing is this: we are first creating a tuple. So tuple where key will be 1 and value is this. This is like entire record itself. This was not. This is just an RDD. We are converting into pair RDD. But here, to convert it into pair RDD, what I am doing, I'll take one object. Dot map function will take this object or that entire row. Instead of object, I can also write it as a row itself. Row. Okay. So for every row, what I'm doing, I'll take this row dot split comma. So what I'll do first, see, I need to extract this guy as a key. So what I'll do, this entire row dot split based on comma, I'll get array of columns, right? Column 1 and column 2 for only first row. So this is my column 0 and column 1. So the column 0 I'm taking it as key, column 1 I'm taking it as value. That's why I have written this syntax. So row dot split comma 0, which means it's an array of 0 which gives me department ID, and array of 1 will give me salary. Okay, and this will give me the pair RDD object. Okay, now once you have a pair RDD object, what you want to do, as you all have suggested. By the way, is this clear? Any questions on this? Please let me know if you have any question. Okay, sure. So as Swadeep mentioned, let's do collect. Collect on this RDD. Let's see what happens. So as you can see, 100, 1 200, 1 300, 2 400. So it's basically becoming one key value pair RDD, right? Is that clear? Cool. After that, what you want to do? You want to use a reduce by key operation. Pair RDD dot. Okay. In reduce by key, what will you do, by the way? Excuse me. Yes. Here we need to find out a mean. So you just use, okay, there is a inbuilt functionality is available. Just do this. That's it. Normally what we used to do in reduce by key, underscore plus underscore for word count. That means any two values I want to find out the sum. If I want to find out minimum, what I will do, math dot minimum, and I'll just say for any two values find the minimum. So it will finally give me the minimum record. Okay. And then finally if you do collect, it should give me the final result. Uh-oh, there is something wrong. Okay, it's my bad, sorry. See what I have done, by the way, when I created this file RDD, it has created a string. Now can I find a mean between two strings? No, I have to convert it into integer, right? So I should create a pair RDD, but at that time I will just say this to int. I want to convert that data into integer. It's anyway integer, but it's a string representation. So I'll first convert it into integer. Okay. Once I convert that into integer, then if I do this, I should be able to get the data. I can get the minimum record between all the data. So as you can see, department 4 has 900, 1 has 100, 3 has 500, 2 has 100. So that's the correct data we got, right? So this is how you got the minimum salary for a given department ID. Sure, Swadeep. So this was the error. It says instead of that, please use overloaded method with this parameter. It cannot be applied to string. Okay. Is everyone clear with this program? Any doubts on this? Sure, I'll show you that reduced by key step also. This is the reduced by key step. Okay. So you are basically doing mat.minimum, finding the minimum between that. Yes, Deepto, it's an inbuilt function. Okay. Is that clear, Manoj? Yes, Deepto, you can do that. Definitely you can do that. No, Deepak. Collect is an action which actually just prints it on the console. Save as text file will save your output into the file in SDFS. Both are action, but both do different things. One will print it on the console, one will save it in the file in SDFS. So that's all I had for today's session, and just wanted to give you a flavor of different programs in Java as well as Scala. So are you able to get it now? How to write programs in Spark? Finding it better now? Omkar, so basically underscore comma underscore means any two values get the minimum of them. That is what we mean by underscore comma underscore. So it's like this. See, reduce by key will take two parameters, right? Now what do you want to do with these two parameters? You want to sum it up, you want to do the multiplication, subtraction, or you want to find minimum, anything. So underscore comma underscore means any two values of the same key. I want to find a minimum value. That's what it means. Okay. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. Yes, Aditya, that's right. Parallelly, I'm opening it for a poll. You can finish the poll as well. Hi, Satyanarayan. Okay, I remember you were asking for that, Satyanarayan. Unfortunately, really sorry I couldn't come back to you. I am not going to take admin for at least for this month. Maybe hopefully in February I may be able to take, because I'm really tied up with lot of other stuff, and that's why I couldn't do that actually. So I will anyway update you. In fact, all of you when I'm taking that batch as well. I'll be starting few new batches as well in machine learning and data science. So I'll be updating you when I'm going to take that for the new batch. But for admin, I'm not taking it. I don't have any schedule for admin right now. Really sorry for that. Actually, I couldn't come back to you. Sure, Shiva. I will come back to you. And as I said, Satyanan, you can always, let's be in touch because I'm also planning to do something on my own. So I would basically, share the details to all of you. So I'll be starting all this batch on my own as well. So if you are interested, you can find more details for that. That I take it as a compliment, Sadeep. Thank you. Okay, Satyanan, I'm located in India, in Bangalore. Okay. No, I don't take Excel classes, Shiva. I take R, of course, but not Excel. That's the reason why I don't take up that data science, because they don't really cover. They cover Excel as part of data science, which is not really ideal. When you say data science, machine learning should be covered, but that they don't really cover that in extent. So I don't take up that. Sure, Satyanarayana. I will be definitely, getting back to everyone, to you and everyone. I'm just working out on my some paperwork. Once it completes, I should be able to have concrete plan on that. Mano, looks like you need to do first this. Did you do this to int? You should convert it into to int. Thank you, Satyanarayana. Thank you. I'll just paste it here itself. Yeah, as you said. Let me just paste that code here itself so that all of you can try it here. It's okay. It's the same thing because I'm also pasting it so he can get idea from there. Yeah, sure. That's correct. Yeah, I could see two people have not done. Can you please finish the polling? And I would also encourage everyone to please give a, fill up that feedback survey once you close that session. It'll take 2 minutes of your time, but please do that. Okay. And Manoj, if you don't mind, if you get stuck somewhere after taking this, suggestion also, those code also, you just send me a mail with that error and with what you are exactly doing, so that I can help you solve that. Okay. Cool. All right. So thank you, everyone. I think that's all I had for today's session. We can call it a day now, and have a great week ahead. We'll see you next weekend at the same time, and we'll continue from there. Thank you, everyone. I'll be sharing all the code to you over email, and please practice it. Okay. Next weekend, Sudeep, we'll be starting with Scala Basics. We'll learn Scala programming. It is out of context of Spark. We'll not do Spark first. We'll basically do Scala. We'll start with basics of Scala. We'll learn how to write programs in Scala, and we'll also learn how to create class and objects in Scala, all that stuff. And we'll be doing a lot of programs in that. And then we'll move on to the advanced topics of Spark. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sudeep. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. And sorry, not weekend, week ahead. And then we'll see you in the next weekend. Cool. See you, everyone. Bye.